of 333, and he said, when I thought about it, I realized that it was a number pointing us to DNA. So think of this idea, and along with this, here's somebody from Australia sent me and he said, Pastor Mike, I don't know what in the world this means, why this person had this on their license plate. And he said, but I just had to take a picture of it and show it to you. I don't know who this is, what they're doing, but their license plate says 333 DNA. Okay, illumination, occult knowledge. And to add a little more fuel to the fire, notice that in the background, and you don't see it really fully here, behind this guy with this mark and this illumination, all this stuff, you have two pillars in the background, and then on top of that you have a royal arch and a keystone. The two pillars represent Jachin and Boaz. Now in the tabernacle, and we're going to talk about this here in a little bit, in the tabernacle, in the temple, you had the two pillars, Jachin and Boaz. They were both 23 cubits tall. That represents the chromosomes, human DNA. The royal arch, Masonry teaches that one side represents the male or the heavenly principle, the other side represents the female or the earthly principle, and they're fused together by what they call the keystone. This all goes back to Revelation chapter 9. The angel falls, he has the key to the bottomless pit, and he releases the stone, the beast. So that's what that is. That's what that imagery is all about. Now we're going to go back to school very quickly, and we're going to kind of tie this together a little bit, because there's something that I want to teach you. Something that I know now that I want to tell everybody what I know. Okay, now not everybody's going to watch, but I'm going to try to tell as many people as I can what I know. Let's go back to school. And let's look at the Wilderness Tabernacle. This is some information that I shared up at Rochester, New York. By the way, they had a great meeting up there, met a lot of wonderful people. And I ate quiche for the very first time. So thanks, Val. But we had a wonderful time up there, and I kind of taught some new things that I've kind of been holding back. I wanted to teach it up there as kind of a gift to those people, and I'm going to share it with you. The Wilderness Tabernacle. Now this is awesome. This is absolutely amazing to me. You're looking at a picture. When you see the Wilderness Tabernacle, you're looking at a picture of practically every cell in your body. You see the cell wall. The sanctuary itself, with the most holy place, is the nucleus of your cell. And inside the nucleus of the cell, inside the most holy place, you have the Ark of the Covenant, which represents the chromosomes that you have. And inside those chromosomes, remember in the Ark of the Covenant, the book of the law that God wrote in the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet was stored inside the Ark of the Covenant. Well, it just so happens that you have 22 amino acids that form the genetic structure inside of your DNA that's stored in the 46 chromosomes that's put inside the nucleus, or the most holy place of your cell. Literally, you are the tabernacle of God in every cell of your body. This just absolutely blows me away. I absolutely love this. And I was going through some old notes here a while back, and I caught this, and I'm going, how in the world did I miss this? Notice there along the front of the sanctuary, you have four pillars that supported the front. Now we have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, or the four amino acids, adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine, that are so the gospel is the entry point to the most holy place. And I want you to get that, all right? You can't like sneak in through the back. You have to go through the four pillars, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And so you walk in there, and the north wall and the south wall, now you're going to like this, the north wall of the tabernacle has 20 boards along the wall there that make up the wall. Likewise, the south wall will have 20 boards that make it up. Across the back, you have exactly 6 boards that make up the back wall of the tabernacle. 20 plus 20 plus 6 is 46. The exact number of chromosomes where your DNA is stored is put right into the building structure of the tabernacle. Absolutely, I mean, it blew me away when I saw this. And I worship God, because He's the one that wrote the book, not only the book of this Bible, but He wrote the book of our DNA. David said in Psalm 139, he said, in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance was fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. God wrote the book of our DNA, folks. He put it inside the 46, inside the tabernacle, inside the nucleus of the cell. It's all there. When Solomon built the temple, he put 2 pillars in front, one called Jachin and one called Boaz. They were 23 cubits tall apiece. End to end, they would have been 46 cubits. Now, the thing to think about is that these chromosomes, there's 46 of them, but they're always paired up. They're always paired up. 23 pairs, 23 times 2, of chromosomes represented by Jachin and Boaz. Now, there's something to remember, is that Freemasonry, Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma here, Freemasonry teaches that their secret is hidden inside of Jachin and Boaz. So just kind of think along those lines. When Adam and Eve first came together, Genesis chapter 2, the exact words that Adam spoke, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." In your King James Bible, that is exactly 46 words. Let me explain this very quickly. You have the male, you have the man, you have the woman. Now, when Adam said, they shall be one flesh, you know, some of the scholars look at that and say, well, you know, it doesn't really mean that they're like one. It, you know, maybe emotionally or maybe, you know, like this spiritual connection, but it doesn't really mean that. Let me help you with something. You see, I've learned to believe from the Bible that we probably don't take it literally enough. I mean, that's just how God's training me. And so, get this. We have the man, we have the woman, and they are joined together, and what happens? They become one flesh. I am the one flesh of my father and my mother. And I have 46 chromosomes where my DNA is stored. That is, you know, part of me is my dad, part of me is my mom. Now, my deep voice, that does not come from my mom. It comes from my dad. My loud voice comes from my mom. But I am them two coming together to make one. See, this Bible's right. And you count things in the Bible, and you see great and mighty things that you knew not. Wisdom comes from counting. So 46 and chromosomes and life and children, it's all there, people. The 46th book of the Bible is 1 Corinthians, and that's where we learn that ye are the temple of God. In the 46, and people, the scholars cannot handle the fact that God is the one who not only wrote the Bible, but I'm 100% sure that God is the one that designed it and laid it out according to His will and His glory. I just believe that. And so, here you have the 46th book of the Bible telling, that's where it's revealed that this body is the temple of God. And then notice, you remember that story where they were telling, you know, Jesus is saying, you know, destroy this temple and I'll build it again in 3 days. And they're going, what? 40 in 6 years was this temple in building. And Jesus said, you know, it's the temple of my body. 46 years, the temple of His body. Absolutely amazing. We're getting there. The Old Testament written in Hebrew, the New Testament written in Greek. Hebrew has 22 letters. Greek has 24 letters. Add them up. It's 46 letters. Letters. The book of in thy book, all my members were written. Folks, I mean, it's absolutely perfect what God has done and what God has done here. And so I want to kind of get you here. The 46th book of the New Testament, and here's where we're going with this, so pay close attention to this. The 46th book of the New Testament is Luke chapter 2. What does Luke chapter 2 deal with? And the angel said unto them, fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. Because the Bible is teaching us that, and I literally believe that Jesus came in the flesh. 46 chapters when He comes, 46 chromosomes.